Hello and welcome to session 1 of the Everflame Her Sacrifice.
Everflame Her Sacrifice.
D&D Campaign update. You know
Our new series here on YouTube.
I didn't know if we were going to come in and be like,
hello and welcome.
Yeah, you know what? Didn't really know how to do the intro to that, to be honest. Do you want to know why? This was supposed to come to you in a different format.
This was supposed to come to you, as we mentioned previously, from our live stream that we started doing. Live streaming on Twitch.
Yes.
Every Friday and every Sunday.
Yep.
Come and join us, 7 p.m. GMT. But we had a small mistake. We made a small boo-boo.
Yes.
A minor hiccup.
Yes.
From ourselves.
Yes.
Which was, there is a button that you're supposed to click.
Yes.
To record your VODs.
Yeah. Guess who didn't click it?
We didn't click that one button. So we were like, yeah, VODs will go up.
Yep, didn't click the button. So
we talked about it on stream, and everyone said hello to YouTube.
Yes. Yes. There was a lot of love for you. I want you to know that. There was a lot of love.
There was no VOD.
No VOD. There's no
Tis
VOD.
Lost to the ages.
It is lost forever, unfortunately.
Tis merely a relic in time.
Whilst this may be your first time, or who knows, maybe you did catch it on the Fabled stream and this is you came back to watch us again, in which case, thank you. This is not our first time retelling this, but this may be your first time hearing it. So I will include kind of everything that we went over on it in stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be completely transparent as well, we said that these are going to come to you in terms of VODs from the stream. It's going to be something we do. We've only done it once, but we don't really know how well it translates to on stream. Like, just for us personally. Like, nothing to do with anyone else other than us.
Because, we're supposed to be clipping it for YouTube.
Yes, yeah.
Like, we talk about it on stream and then we click it for YouTube, but at the same time, like, when you're on stream, we get very sidetracked.
Oh my God,
people, like, giving money and things like that, and subs. So we're like thanking them. So it ended up being not as coherent as I think we'd liked it to have been.
Yeah, agreed. So are you going to get it just in this format? Again, this is no extra work for us. This is just filming an extra, however long before we actually film an episode.
The session start,
So it's not a big issue. But just so you know, we might come to you in this format again. We might not. I don't really know.
We don't know yet.
I don't know. But for
it's exciting times.
It is exciting times. But at least we know for the first session update. This is what you're getting. So, kind of with all that out of the way, if you don't know what this is, if this is your first time kind of stumbling on this video, or your first time wanting to see something from us other than just kind of the Podblast, Jack is our forever DM.
Yes.
He runs homebrew games for us.
Yep.
They cycle through maybe a year.
Yeah,
I would
usually
say, every year.
I've run 2 campaigns prior to this one, and they've both lasted just short of a year.
Yeah.
So it's about, 10, 11 months
and
that they run for. We
have just started your 3rd campaign, the newest campaign, which you have aptly titled...
Everflame Her Sacrifice is what it's called.
Yes.
And a little bit about it, a little bit of context about it as to why it's named that, is if you watch our channel... a few months ago, I did a one-shot, and I invited my brother into our normal game of Margaret, Abby, Josh, Matthew, and then I invited my brother in as well. And we did a little one-shot where there was a little town called Hemwick that was a glen on the outside of the great city of Isrendith, which is like the religious and holy mecca of this world that we live in. And one day, as they were the guards of Hemwick, just going about their duties in a very normal, quiet day, the sky opened up and meteors fell from the sky on this great city of Isrendith, and one hit Hemwick. They fought a few Eldritch aberration-y sort of things, but you saw them all going towards the great city of Isrendith, and the great city of Isrendith has now fallen. And the campaign takes place 6 months after that, where people have gotten out if they could. Most have died, but the great religious mecca of Isrendith is now a ghost town, basically.
Yeah.
So, a few things about the world that I mentioned on stream.
Yes, yeah. I think it's important that you get a basis of kind of what the world setting is, a basis of kind of what the goals are. I think that's important, yeah. Yeah,
so a little bit of context, just about the world in general. So, there is a overarching religious, governing body in this world called the Ashen Heart. They have fingers in every pie, where it is magic, where it is like schools and all sorts of things. They are. If you run something, it is in the name of the Ashen Heart, or it is ruled by the Ashen Heart, or they own it. Yeah. But at the same time, the people don't really have a negative view of the Ashen Heart. They've done a lot for people.
Yeah, like innovative.
Yeah, they've done a lot for people. They worship the Everflame.
Yep.
And that is a gift from the gods that came before them. Basically, this like flame that is in a place in Osrendith called Old Town where nobody's allowed to go. That was what the city used to be. But everyone is evacuated around it, and it's just like this piece in time, this moment in time in a city where you aren't allowed to go. And it is just like it is hope, it is protection, it is like everything that the Ashen Heart like embodies. Yeah. Like a gift that we like hold sacred. Yeah. And basically every like time the calendar end, like the Mayan calendar that everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012. Yep. There's a similar thing in this world, and when that ends, there has to be like a sacrifice to the gods. The Messiah of the Ashen Heart, who was Alejandra, she went in on the day that the calendar ended, and she did not come back out. She was the Messiah. There's currently a steward in place in her stead until the next Messiah is chosen. Yep. But after that happened, some strange things started to happen. Like, that was about 2 years ago now, like, in the world. And ever since then, there has been people called the Withered. People who have... You okay?
Yes, sorry, just had an epiphany.
Yeah?
Yep.
Why?
Just had one.
Just had one live?
We'll talk about in next campaign update, because it's relevant to that.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. So, basically, she had made her sacrifice. Everything was all well and good, but something started to happen. There was these people called the Withered, and basically they had died by natural means or whatever. If they were like killed or something like that, they were basically died and had passed on, but they just had not passed on. Yeah. They had come back to life. Nothing strange apart from they were grey-skinned, a little bit more emaciated, looked ill. Yeah. But, you know, they were the same people. Yeah. Had the same memories. Yep. Did the same things. Yep. Needed to eat, needed to drink, and everything like that. Just for some
reason.
Just death had not accepted them.
Yep.
So that is like the setting for the world. Yep. And then obviously 2 years on from Alejandra's sacrifice, the comets fell on the city. Yep. And now we are 6 months on from that. Is where we start the campaign update.
Yes, and I guess the setting visually, we do have some absolutely incredible art who's been sent in by Kay Francis Art. They have a Patreon, which is Baron Boards, where you can get all sorts of D&D maps. You can see the quality of this piece of art. Yeah. And they make battle maps, they make all sorts of things, so please check them out.
Yeah, please check them out on socials. We'll leave them in the link below.
Very kindly did, after hearing the one-shot campaign update that you did, said, that sounds like something I would love to do a piece of art on. And we have this incredible piece of art of the comet falling. Now, we had a whole overlay set up for Discord.
For Discord?
For Twitch. I don't know if I will have put it on here. But here's a visual. And I think the visuals of your world, I don't know if you've said this, they're very Bloodborne, very Dark Souls.
Very like gothic, sort of like Victorian. Yeah. Like Britain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like large stone buildings, like stacked up on top of each other.
Spires.
And things like that. Yeah, it's very Bloodborne, very gothic.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
It's very cool.
So, I guess that leads us on to
6 months after the comets fell.
Yeah. And we all were given the brief when we were making our characters, and, you know, from the one shot as well, that the comet has fallen and you want to get back into the city for some reason. And 6 months after, the retake efforts are happening now. Everyone is coming together who may or may not have worked together previously. You know, religious people who wouldn't have worked with certain other people, because everyone just wants it to be
everyone's
back
got a common
to
goal
again.
now. Like the Ashen Heart are a little bit funny. Like magic is ruled by them, especially like in terms of Osrendith, and like the furthering of magic, like magic research and things like that. Like wizards are part of the Ashen Heart. So maybe people who didn't practice magic within the realms of the Ashen Heart were like frowned upon normally, but now because they have been sort of shattered and scattered. people who maybe they wouldn't have normally worked with are now getting like a chance.
Yes, exactly. And that was the basis that all of us made our characters on. So I guess I will introduce everyone's characters first.
Yes.
Right? Who did I start with on stream?
We'll start with Abby.
Abby's
character is Dale.
Dale Fitzgerald.
Dale Fitzgerald.
So she is a soul knife rogue.
Yes.
She is human. I don't know if she just appears human or if that is actually the race she's chosen, but she appears human, soul knife rogue. We don't have art for anyone yet. And this is something, you know, I'm crazy and I must get art of my characters done 6 months beforehand. So, of course, I have art. If I have the overlay up, you see someone on here.
I mean, to be fair, there was some art of Dale, which we will put in.
Yes. Jack just reminded me that actually is like, if you use the Bejuiced avatar generator, this is Dale.
This is Dale.
And I can only describe her as a literal ray of fucking sunshine.
Yeah, she's a very positive character.
She's a very positive character.
She's got a very positive outlook, a very positive disposition.
Yeah, I would say
glass half full sort of person.
Very much so. She's very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
She's very excited. And again, with all of these backstories, we've had 2 sessions now, but this is obviously only going over session 1. We keep our backstories secret. We keep them to ourselves and between Jack, and then they all unravel. That's just how we like to do it. So everything I say here is just my own perception on my friends' characters.
Yeah, and what we know as of this moment.
And what they've shown us. And I've also decided with my character's backstory, I considered telling you everything and saying this is her backstory, see how it unfolds, but I actually think it would be funner for you to discover
find out as you find out.
Yeah, find out as I do, and we can share the reveals together. I think that'll be the fun way, because again, we do these because we're not an actual play podcast. And it would be fun. It's the support you gave us in the last campaign is very
and you know, like it's like, no, we're not an actual play, but you all seem to want to hear about it, so you basically just get a telling of the story and what happened. And
again, keep in mind everything I say here, this is from my perspective
and mine
and yours, and there's probably things that maybe you know everyone's backstories, but there's probably things that I maybe missed, things that I'm construing wrong, but that's the joy of it, isn't it? That's the joy of it.
So that is Dale.
So she is, well, the bits we know about her is she was a librarian in her past life.
And her reason to go back into the city is?
She wants to find old books, and she described it as forbidden knowledge
so
of
it's
the
like,
past.
More people, because obviously they don't know what's happened to the city. And, you know, like there's knowledge and stuff in there, because that is where a lot of things are held. A lot of like probably sensitive topics and sensitive information of us Rendith and the Ashen Heart. So she's going in to maybe pick up some books and things like that maybe if we don't get the city back or something, at least the knowledge is protected.
And in this campaign there's the interesting juxtaposition of who you were and who you are now as well. You know, I keep saying, I will say this continuously throughout as well, you know, in their past life, in his past life, in her past life, like it's because before the comet fell, everyone was a different person, and everyone's different now. But she was a librarian.
She was,
She worked for the Cinder Circle, she worked for the Ashen...
Nope, she just worked at a library.
She just worked at a library,
There was, in where she lives, because she's not from the city, where she lived, there was like a wizarding school or a wizarding like organization, like a wizards guild that was part of the Cinder Circle, that she was like good friends with the people in, and you know, where she lived, it wasn't like a massive place. There was a big library where she worked, and then there was the Wizards Guild.
I had assumed she actually worked for like the Ashen Heart. Interesting. So that's Dale. Ray of sunshine, sweet, kind, addicted to coffee. Very interesting, and something important to note. She has purple eyes.
She has purple eyes. You will have seen from the.
She will have seen. She has purple eyes. Which becomes relevant later.
Yes.
On to the next. We have Marcus Everwood, who is Matthew's character. He is a genie warlock. He appears to be. He said specifically, you can't tell if he's full elf or half elf. Don't know if that's his race, but that's how he appears. Marcus is also a ray of fucking sunshine.
Yes, he is also a very. Sort of less like Dale. He is more of a nervous disposition.
Yes.
He is more of he's very happy, he's very kind.
Yes.
He's very kind, but
he's also very hopeful.
Yes.
I think. You know how I said Dale's very enthusiastic? She's enthusiastic in a different way, I feel, where in an excited way, where I feel Marcus is enthusiastic in a hopeful way.
Yeah.
And ray of sunshine, but in a very different way.
Yes.
Right? Kind of the same spectrum, but different ends of it. And he is incredibly kind. He is very, nervous disposition, I would say.
A little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive about going back into the city.
Yeah. But very kind, very looks out for the people around him, checks in on the people around him. And he wants to get back into the city because he tells us he's looking for someone. And he's looking for family, I think he said. And in his past life, he actually did work for the Ashen...
No.
The Cinder Circle.
No, you're right. The Ashen Excavation.
Yeah.
Not the Cinder Circle,
Right.
Yeah.
He worked for the Ashen Excavation.
Yes.
Which were archaeologists.
Yes,
they
were
did
archaeologists.
Digs.
Yeah. The Ashen Excavation and the Cinder Circle have a lot of crossover because the Ashen Excavation goes out just to find, like, magical relics of, like, ages once past and things like that. Even the things that aren't magical, but a lot of the things that they find in this world are.
Yeah.
And then, they take them to the Cinder Circle. So there's a lot of like crossover between the two. They're like, they work closely together.
Yeah. Kind of, they need each other to, they coexist nicely.
Yeah.
And he was an archaeologist in his past, and he did digs, and he dug up, I don't know, stuff.
Stuff.
We don't know yet.
Bits and bobs and things.
Dug up stuff.
Bits and bobs and things in that.
And that's mainly it.
Yeah.
Two incredibly, I would say, bubbly in their own different ways. Not naive.
Positive
characters.
Then there's Avalor.
Josh's character. He is a Tabaxi Way of the Four Elements monk, but he is specifically a D&D.
He's a 1D&D.
He's a
D&D monk. He's a 1 D&D monk. Because, I think the way of Four Elements monk is, in Player's Handbook, not absolutely useless, but it's one of the worst subclasses in the game.
Yeah, certainly.
So the 1D&D one looked really good.
Yep.
And all of the changes that they made in the latest playtest look fantastic.
Yep.
So I was like, let's try it out, Josh. If it's too powerful, we can do something about it. If it's not powerful enough, we can do something about it.
Yeah.
But,
It remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen.
But,
he's enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, he is a Tabaxi. Now, Avalo. I feel like there is so much more to Avalo, and there's reasons why he acts this way, but Avalo is very stoic.
He is, and it will not be offensive for me to say, completely emotionless.
Completely emotionless. Like, and when we say completely emotionless, we mean like devoid of any form of emotion. Like, whether it be he can't feel them, something stopping him feeling them, he doesn't want to. It's his practice as a monk. We don't know.
Yeah.
But he
his
is
monastic
devoid.
Traditions.
Yeah. Devoid of emotion. Speaks literally, Josh.
Monotone.
He really struggles to keep up his voice because it's literally like, my name is Avalo. Yes, let's not die.
Yeah, or he's like, that seems quite exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited by that.
That's I am now happy.
I'm very upset about that.
It's like intentionally
intentionally
emotionless.
So. Yes, and God bless him. After the first session, he was like, I promise there's a reason for this.
Yeah,
I promise I'm not going to be like this forever.
I said to him, like, if this was your first time playing with a group or our group, if you were to come in with this character, people might be like, okay, this is like tough. But because we know who he is and what he's like, and that he's great at roleplay, and he is very good at portraying emotions in many different ways.
We know he's committing to the bit.
The fact that he's doing this, I'm like, they will understand that there is a reason you're doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he also wants to get back into the city because he wants to find someone, and he confirmed it was family too, I think. At least that's what he told us. Whether this is the case for anyone, by the way, I don't know.
We've had liars in the past.
We could have liars.
We
might have liars now. Who knows? We very well could. And apart from that, there isn't much more to discern about Avalo.
He is quite a closed book currently.
Yes,
he is quite a closed book. He seems. One thing that he seems very focused.
Very, very focused.
He seems very focused.
He is very much like, all right, we're tasked with this. We're going to do this. I'm going to make sure none of you die because I need you, because we all need each other to get this done. I want to get this done.
So let's do it.
Yeah, so let's do it.
No messing about.
Yeah. And, you know, I am certain there is much, much more that we haven't scratched the surface of with Avalo yet. And then we come to my character.
Then we come to...
Blythe Warren.
We come to Blythe.
We come to Blythe.
Oh, I didn't put Josh's in. Give me a second. I'll guess it about 17.
It's all right. So, if I've put the overlay up, on screen, there has been someone looking a little moody and a little sad. And this is Blythe. This is my character.
This is Blythe.
And the little guy with her is Balthazar, her pet dog. Balthazar, by the way, no mechanical reasoning at all.
Nope.
Absolutely nothing mechanical. He is completely flavor. I don't know why. I just always pictured her with a pal.
Companion, yeah.
With a companion. And thus Balthazar was born. He is purely just roleplay. Maybe I will multi-class into something that makes him useful later. Maybe you'll give me a magic item later. I don't know. But that's them. And Blythe, first of all, her art.
Her art is fantastic. Her art is amazing.
Yeah. I think we talked about this in Monday's episode, so you probably have already seen her art.
Yes, you probably have already seen her.
But she is everything I could have ever envisioned and more. The artist, Roberto, his Instagram handle is Rowan Tor on Instagram. Yeah. I will, of course, leave links below. All of our friends are getting commissions from him now.
Even if you don't want a commission, just head on over to
show him some love.
Their Instagram and just follow and things like that.
Yes, please do.
Exposure is good.
Absolutely, but now everyone's queuing up to get commissions. I think Abby and Matthew are as well.
Yeah,
so
and our friend Courtney is.
When we get their art, we'll put them actually onto the overlay so you can see everyone. But, you know, I just, of course, had mine first. So, Blythe. She is my swords bard human. She is actually an Eladrin, but reskinned to look like a human. Mm-hmm. I know that there was a point in my life where I said I would never play a human, and technically she's not a human, like stat-wise.
Technically,
but I thought again when I kind of pictured her backstory, I pictured her as a human.
Yeah.
In this, I feel like quite human-centric world. I feel like this is more grounded in.
No.
Maybe just because I'm picturing like Victorian England.
Maybe because you're a human.
Maybe because no. What the fuck? So this is Blythe. The reason she is wearing the heavy armor once again, all flavor, because she was going to be a vengeance paladin.
Yes, and then you played a swords bard in the one shot.
Yes,
and then you were like, I like swords bard. And then you tried a paladin in Matthew's one shot, and you were like, I don't like this as much.
Yeah.
So she dual wields mechanically.
Yes, she dual wields mechanically.
She's just got a big sword.
Yep.
So, and that's just, it shows you, if you want them to have a big sword, but be able to dual wield, it doesn't really matter. It's just flavor.
All flavor, baby.
As long as we're mechanically using the right action economy and rolling the right dice, it doesn't really matter.
Yep. So Blythe, again, it's so hard not to just go, and this, and tell you everything about her. She is the sad character.
She is the sad character.
We have the juxtaposition of the two incredibly bright characters, and Avalo kind of in the middle just because he's devoid. And then we have Blythe, who is the tragic character. She has a perpetual aura of sadness.
Yeah, she has a rain cloud above her.
Yeah, one of those people where you sit by her and you can feel the sorrow radiating off of her. And I'm trying, similar to what Josh said, I'm trying not to play her as in she's miserable all the time. There's just an underlying tone of sadness. Being honest, I take a lot of inspiration from Liam O'Brien, specifically with Orym. How Orym has, and I haven't watched all of it, so I don't know all of his backstory, but there is a sadness to Orym. Mm-hmm. There's a sadness to all of his characters.
There's a sadness to every single one of them. Yeah. Caleb, sadness. Vax, sadness. Orym, sadness.
And I'm trying to channel that where she can, she's kind, mm-hmm. she's gentle, she cares, she's compassionate, but there's an underlying tone of sadness. And what everyone has learnt about, well, not much actually.
So we had to clap out because I couldn't see if the thing was on because the mirror wasn't there.
Sorry. An underlying tone of sadness.
Yes.
Now, what the group know about her, I think by session 1, actually really not a lot.
Nothing, really.
Actually kind of nothing.
Because, it's hard to get things across like that in session 1.
Yeah,
because, you've probably got, like, bits to do, meeting each other, a small mission to succeed.
Yeah.
So there's not, like, too much. There's loads of gabbing on, but there's
loads of gabbing on.
There's definitely not any like progression in terms of the story.
Definitely, and you know, I think Blythe is kind of holding things a bit close to her as well, because it's hard for her, but you know, overwhelming sadness. Everyone just we call her the sad clown because she's the only sad one and she's the bad.
The sad clown.
And Balthazar is a sweet little boy.
Yeah.
He's kind.
He's a little guy.
First of all, yes, he's weird. He's weird looking.
Yes, he's got 4 eyes.
He's got
they
4
glow
eyes.
red. He's got a very big, almost like heat radiating heart that you can see through his chest.
Very similar to Karlach. Has a you can see through the skin on his chest, and you can see the embers of his heart beating. And he's just a good boy. He's just a lad.
He's a good lad.
Everyone was like, "Your dog's fucking weird. Is your dog evil?" And he's just a good boy.
Evil.
He's just a good little lad. He's just been changed.
Just a good guy.
Just been changed, as we all have. And that's everyone. That's everyone's characters. So I guess I'll go over what happened in the session.
In session 1.
To be honest. Again, session 1 for us is always very much so people sussing each other out.
Yeah, well, I'll start because I'll tell you how the session began. Obviously, in the one shot, as I said, there was a small town called Hemwick on the outside of the great city of Isrendith. Nice and small, not much going on there, pretty quiet. Had blacksmiths, bakers, and bits like that, and there was a number of guards there, which is what all of my players played. They were the guard of Hemwick. And obviously the comet fell. Things came out of the comet that fell and began to attack everybody in the city. They cut them down and ran into the church, and then they saw this one large, horrible eldritch being going over the bridge towards Isrendith. The father of the church said, "You know what you need to do. They've obviously got enough problems in there. You've seen how many comets have fallen. Go and do what you are supposed to do in the name of the great city." You ran out. You took down this beast by blowing up the bridge, as there was a defense mechanism. So we come into into the actual campaign. There is a convoy of mini carts, almost like a pilgrimage of a small civilization. There are warriors, there are holy people, there are blacksmiths, bakers, people who are going to take care of cattle, because we are moving into Hemwick. Because the bridge had been destroyed, nothing from the city could have come out towards it. So basically, it was like
one of the only places
close enough to Isrendith for you to get close and then use it as a base of operations. Which was what the plan was. So they find that out. Bless you.
Oh, sorry about that.
We come in, we introduce Blythe.
As
she sits across from Avalor. In a cart. And you hear that there is another convoy of carts coming. Bless you. That is going to be meeting up with us soon. And they do. And out from the other convoy that sort of meets with ours on the way to Hemwick comes Marcus. Comes Dale. And comes a character from the one shot. The father of the church. Father Augustine. He comes over and sits in your cart because you are the first people who are going into Hemwick.
And it was nice. It was because it was the first time we'd done a one-shot type thing. The first time that it'd been a continuous thing. It was really nice for us as players to immediately be like, "Oh my god, we're going back to Hemwick.
We're going back to Hemwick, first of all.
Oh my god, Father Augustine lived. And
Father
he's
Augustine
here.
made it out,
And we can chat to him. You know, our characters had no idea who this dude was, but, us in our hearts, we knew.
You knew. And, he let you know, the layout of Hemwick. And sort of what happened. And he's really, really excited to get back in. So, he's got a bit of a nervous excitement, apprehensive, sort of looking to find out what has come from his city as he's lived there all of his life.
Sorry, goodness gracious me. There was a lot of role play, some notable things about each character. We noticed that Dale had purple eyes. We noticed that Avalo had a red gem in his forehead. They noticed that Blythe has a locket on her chest that has something orange in it. And Marcus is cute. I don't know.
Marcus is very nervous.
Marcus is
very, very nervous.
Yeah, Marcus is very nervous.
It's excited nervous because he's also excited, but he is nervous. But, the convoy stops and they send you in. And you go towards the very...
Well, we meet the commander, first of all. We meet
Arabella.
Arabella, who's the commander of everything right now.
So she was higher up in the Ashenheart Guard. The Ashen Guard. and she made it out alive.
Yeah.
And she's sort of been tasked with like, you know, she is in charge of like the task force. Like if we do get into Hemwick, the people who, you know, guard Hemwick, people who are like posted up in different places, talks very much to you about going into Azrenda. So she is, you know, just like a general, basically.
Yeah. Tasked us with going in, and so we did. We went in. We did that fucking thing where Jack was like, "Oh, there's you know." After some perception checks, we found that there was 2 like dogs in the road, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
Not in the road, in Hemwick.
In Hemwick, and we were like, "Oh my god, dogs!
Oh my god, dogs! I love
goodness.
dogs. I've got a dog.
Oh,
Blythe, I've got a dog. I love dogs.
We can become friends with the dogs." Couldn't. Absolutely not. They were feral wolves.
Yeah, they were rabid feral wolves. They
would have absolutely tried to eat us.
Most of their fur had like fallen out. Their skin looked like very unhealthy. Like they looked like deathly thin.
But we were like, oh, let's domesticate them.
Yeah, and one of them was picking at a corpse as
Oh,
it was tearing the flesh from the bones of the corpse.
my
And you guys were like,
God. Oh, so cute. But Marcus very ingeniously thought, because he's a genie warlock, he has misty vision, so he can create basically like a minor illusion. And he did like a big scary bear.
Well, that was after Abby used her telepathic
psychic
powers to like rustle a bush, and the wolves came over to the bush, and that's how you got a good look at them. And then Marcus scared them off with the illusion. So they skirted the very first combat of the campaign.
Such is life. You know, that's just how it goes. And I can say this now because we've seen that Abby actually can roll. Oh my god, I've never seen such bad stealth rolls from a rogue in my life.
She didn't get anything above 5 in the first
She rolled the first natural 1 of the campaign, and I just have nat 20 on Josh. Don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, I got a natural 20 on Josh.
Oh, you got the first natural 20. Yeah.
No, I think Matthew got the first natural 20. But I did get a natural 20 on Josh.
Oh yeah, Matthew got the first natural 20, and he got the first one. Then Abby, oh my god, Abby could not roll.
Couldn't roll over
stealth,
considering
she has what expertise and proficiency, etc. in it. Such is life. Dex is probably a higher stat. Such is life.
But you moved closer to Hemwick, and you saw the barracks, which is where all of your previous characters would have like spent most of their days. And at the beginning of the one shot, they were like playing a dice game. You went around the back of the barracks. You saw the large area where that small comet hit. The bridge in the distance towards Azrendith, and you saw a barrel with a few seats around with a like dice game that had been played, and it was just to show like really since your characters left here, nothing's
been touched. And you know, again, it was a somber moment. And you know, when Blythe got closer to the city, because this is the closest she'd been to the city, because she lived in the city. That is something that we kind of found out. Oh God, we haven't shown the map. Oh my goodness!
I'll show map now. Now.
Here's the map of Osrendith.
Yeah, which we aren't in yet. We're in Hemwick.
We're in Hemwick right now. So we're like out here.
No, over here.
Over here.
Over here.
Oh, I thought it was like down here.
No. That's why you were.
Oh, because Cleargate's down.
Yeah, which is where we go to.
Interesting. All right. We're over there somewhere.
Yeah, we're over there.
Blythe actually lived in the city, and she lived in the upper Kindlewatch. And it turns out Marcus lived in the normal Kindlewatch district, very close to each other. We found that out quite soon. And anyway, this is the closest that Blythe has been to the city since. And she kind of like fell sick. Like she was obviously affected by being so close to the city, and so was Balthazar. They both were.
Yeah.
And Marcus very kindly took some time and calmed her down. And we moved on. We basically had to go and clear out
you cleared out
Hemwick.
the barracks.
Yep.
You cleared out the very small library that was here in Hemwick. Abby rolled a natural 1 on a stealth check, so the other 2 rabid dogs or wolves that were lurking around Hemwick found them, and that's where the first combat took place.
Yes, the first combat happened. Avila was basically like, fuck it, I'm killing these dogs.
Yeah.
And did so.
He jumped out and got a little surprise attack on them. Yeah. And the combat happened.
Yeah. And if you've noticed, if I have the overlay up, Blythe's art keeps changing, and it's because in combat, like a fiery crown kind of takes over, and I'm flavoring it as because Balthazar's just flavorful, right? Not mechanical. I don't want him getting hurt. So when she goes into combat, Balthazar kind of he like bursts into flame and embers, and he forms like the crown around her head. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Who knows what that means?
Yeah, who knows? Who has any idea what that means?
Who knows? We had the first combat. It went great. It was fine.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
As you imagine.
Cleared out the library, etc. And then
the blacksmiths, the bakers, the butchers, everything apart from the church.
The church, which, you know, as players, we knew was the last we'd seen it was where everyone was gathering, everyone was getting locked in.
In the one shot.
We knew that that's probably where things are going to be, right? We go in. Dale goes to, like, sneak forward.
Fails another stealth check.
That's a stealth check.
And basically they heard, like, a slurping noise.
Go on.
In the church.
Me when I slurp you.
Me when I slurp
you.
And Dale like stealthed down some of the pews unsuccessfully. She saw there was a lot of skeletal bodies like scattered around the whole town because obviously there was a lot of people dead here.
Yeah.
There was a body that wasn't quite skeletal yet.
Yeah.
It was very, very, very obviously like skin to bone. But she saw it like laying on one of the pews of the church. It sits up like really slowly, and on top of its head was a parasite that they fought in the one shot. These like horrible like milky white slugs that have like large circle teeth, like a very large mouth at the front of it. It had obviously attached onto people's heads, eaten the head and sucked the body dry of whatever was inside it. So this like very like horribly ill body like sat up. The neck snapped off with the slug as it fell to the ground, and it skittered towards Abby, and that's where the combat started.
We had another combat.
Yes,
and this was God. Those things hit hard. I nearly died.
Well, they don't hit hard. They try and grapple you, and they do a very small amount of damage.
Yeah.
If they successful grapple you, they do a massive amount of damage.
Yeah. Which happened to Blythe, and she literally nearly died. I was on like 3 hit points.
There was another one as well that Avalor took care of that was like hiding further back in the church.
Yeah, man. Listen, oh my fucking God. Going from a moon druid, all right?
A barbarian moon druid.
Going from a barbarian moon druid who I had 3 health bars. When I raged, I basically doubled my health bars. I had 6 health bars. I was impossible to kill. Impossible.
Almost.
Going from that to a fucking D8 sword bard. Man,
tough.
It is tough. It was good.
It's a different challenge, though, isn't it?
It is a different challenge, very much so. None of us are healers.
No, Matthew took the healer.
Matthew did take the healer feat.
The 1 D&D free feat at level 1, the healer feat.
And to be fair, I took tough, so I have like some more hit points than I would have as well. But Josh keeps making a good point. He's like, man, we're all D8s.
Yeah,
Isn't that
everyone's
wild?
got a D8.
Yeah, which I guess is probably easier for you to balance.
It's the most common hit dice in the game, to be fair, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we had the combat. It was very scary.
But everyone survived.
So we lived through it, and that was it. Hemwick was cleaned out.
Yeah, you took a lot of the dead bodies out of the church.
Yeah,
knowing that that's probably where Father Augustine was going to spend a lot of his time.
Exactly, and because we had learned in the convoy journey that it was where Father Augustine lived, and Blythe was like, let's just, even though they're just bones now, let's just get them out. And Dale was like, we can put them in the graveyard, and we did. They all came back in. We went back. We reported the good news.
There was almost a montage of they had timber ready.
Yeah.
There was shacks that went up. To house many people because Hemwick is a small place.
Yeah.
And there was at least 150 people coming in from this convoy. 150, 200 people. So there was an immediate effort to get shacks up for people to sleep.
Yeah.
There was people repairing the windows of the bakers, the butchers, the blacksmiths, and things like that to make sure that this could basically be a functioning town, which was nice.
Yeah, and that kind of sprung us into, you were like, okay, well, you've cleared it out. The convoy's here. The bridge is going to take a while to rebuild. They had magic users. They had physical laborers. You have 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks of downtime now. What do you want to do? And
it's a way in session 1. It's good to it's really good to allow your players to show everybody who they are, what they're good at.
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
this was sort of what that was meant to be. Okay, we got a bit of downtime. What does your character do?
What do you do?
Because it's important for them to be well, my character would do this, and then people start to be okay, that's who you are. That's what you would do with this time.
Yeah, which I think is just so interesting. Because, you go in, you're like, we're in a convoy, we're going to take the city back. You're very focused, and then you have 2 weeks. Like you said, to show kind of not who your characters really are, but you get an insight, right? So Avalo was like, he goes straight out to the bridge. He wants to get this done as quickly as possible. Because he's a tabaxi, he can climb. He was like, he'll kind of go like up high and he'll try helping like lift things up. And he very much focused on rebuilding the bridge. Dale was like, I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to try organize what is there. We've made it a thing that Dilly Pickles.
The life and adventures of Dilly Pickles.
And we've made it canon that Dale enjoys Dilly Pickles. So she went to the library and she kind of organized what she could, kind of sifted through what she could for whatever reason she needs it. But, she feels most at home in a library. And Dale and Marcus actually, for the most part, stuck together. Blythe and Marcus even. Sorry, Blythe, me. Blythe at first, I think, wanted to show her mettle and show her worth, and she tried to work on the bridge. She tried to do the labor. She tried to help, but after, a week or so, not even a week, like a few days, she got physically exhausted and she couldn't hack it. So she backed up and she joined Marcus, and Marcus was like, I'm going to set up a medical tent. I'm going to set up somewhere where if we find survivors in there, if someone gets hurt here, we can just tend to them. And Blythe joined him, and they kind of set up like a medical area. They would tend to people. Blythe kind of fell into this routine of caring for others. She became close with like the bakers and the cooks, and she would distribute the food, and she would tend to small wounds, and she would just, if someone needed to lend an ear, she would do that. She kind of took up like I described it as like a maternal role.
More of a maternal role, yeah.
I suppose, of what the efforts. And Marcus at the same time, Marcus said he kind of fell back too, and he started doing the more like not hospitable things, but things like that. And Marcus made a point to be like, he actually seems more comfortable here. This is the most at home he's felt in a while. And I said, yeah, so does Blythe. Blythe feels, you can tell the air of sadness is still there. But now she's got something to distract her as consistent as this. It's not as bad.
It's less prominent.
Yeah.
Not as obvious.
And that's what our characters spend the 2 weeks doing. And you made a point to be like, when all the tents went up, you did notice that in the background, there was an extra tent that was put up. A shack. Further away from everyone else, slightly nicer than the others. And you notice that there was 2 members of the Ashen Heart who take residence in there, and it's guarded by guards.
3 members.
3 members.
So there was a, like, after everyone the convoy had come in and settled down, there was a effort by a number of the builders. They started building a shack like a little further away, a slightly bigger shack than the rest. And later in the day, a like Ashen Heart, like, I don't know, cart with loads of Ashen Heart iconography all over it, a slightly more maybe royal looking cart, turned up. And
so you say there was 3 Ashen Heart members.
You saw three people get out.
Oh, see, I've written a couple of figures.
There was 3. I probably described it as a couple of figures.
Because
you weren't paying like full attention. You were like doing things. But there was 3 figures who got out and went in. There was 2 guards posted at the door of that. And, they haven't come and said anything to anyone at this point. They've just, posted up and they're keeping themselves to themselves.
And, our characters, like, on a night, Blythe was like, she's very distrusting of the Ashen Heart for whatever reason. She's very distrusting of the organized religion, I would say. And she was very much just speculating, being like, well, wonder what they're here for. It's really nice that they haven't actually come out and said anything to us, all these people who are working for them. And Dale and Marcus were like, oh, well, let's go introduce ourselves.
They're probably just shy.
Yeah, they're probably busy.
They're probably just shy. They're probably busy, probably shy. Let's go to the bakery.
Yeah, it should be on us. Let's go introduce ourselves.
Godiva, the halfling baker, and get some pastries and some pies, and we'll drop them off.
Yeah, and Blythe was like, fuck no, you can do that yourself. I'd rather die. And Avalo indifferent. Let's be honest. Avalo was indifferent to it. But as we were having this conversation, you mentioned that we all see Father Augustine. He left the camp and kind of went further into the woods. And you said that we'd see him do this every night. So Blythe and Avalo were like, right, well, okay, how about while you go do that, let's just go make sure he's all right, because he's been doing this every night. We don't think it's anything nefarious, but let's just take a look. Let's see if he needs anything. So we split up and we go do that. We describe it as that spinning like a ballerina.
That was Dale and Marcus as they went and got pastries and tried to deliver them unsuccessfully to the Ashen Heart members. As they were stopped by the guard, failed a few persuasion checks, and they said that the guard said that they would deliver the pastries to the people and say it's from them.
But they did leave a good impression, I would say.
They did leave a good impression.
On the guard. They left a good impression on the guard.
They weren't rude, they just failed their persuasion checks.
Yeah.
And
they gave the guard a little extra summit.
One of the guards said, they will be coming to see you also.
Yeah.
Herald Isak will be coming out soon to like introduce himself to you all, and
meanwhile, me and Avlo we sneak and we follow him out into the woods, and we see that Father Augustine goes to a big tree, and we're still hiding at this point, right? Because we're not sure what he's doing, and it's like a low hanging tree. I picture it as like a willow tree or something like that, and he kneels by the tree, and we can see that hanging off the branches there are little jars, and he kneels and he gets out a harmonica and he plays like a single note on the harmonica, and as he does this, each of the jars start to light up, and they each play their own individual note, which kind of forms into a melody. And it's this like really beautiful like serene sight, and we're staying back, and Blythe kind of turns to Avalo and she's like, look, there's
nothing going on here.
There's nothing going on here. Let's join him.
Yeah.
So they make themselves known and they go up, and Avalo is like, can I do an insight? Because he notices us. He's like, can I do an insight check to see what his reaction to us being here is? And he got like a fucking really high roll.
Yeah.
And you said that he's not mad or upset that you're here, but he is sad. You can tell he is upset. So Blythe asks him, like, what is this? And I mean, I think you can describe it best, kind of what he says.
What he says? Oh God, I can't remember.
Oh goodness gracious, man!
He says that later.
Yes,
but he turns around and he invites you all over, and he's like looking at each of these jars like quite fondly, and he's just like having a moment, and basically you come on over, and he like begins to engage in conversation, and he says, in what we're about to do and what we're about to undertake, we are going to lose a lot of people. There's probably going to be a lot of death. But like the moment that we forget the effort, the moment we forget each other, the moment we don't remember each other, is the moment like we truly lose hope. And he begins to like grab a jar and he'd like turn it round to the two that were there, and they began to see the names of each of the party members from the one shot, the people who would like collapse the bridge and made this retaking of Hemwick possible. So they turn it around and they see Big Blue, which is Matthew's character. They see Maria, which is Margaret's character. They begin to see each other's. There's one jar on the tree that isn't lighting up. There was 6. There was Chep. Was it Chep?
Chet.
Chet. I think it was Chep.
Oh, I thought it was Chet.
Which was the new recruit, which was played by me in the one shot, who died instantly. And but there's one that isn't lit up, and that was Eridan's, which was my brother's character from the one shot. Potential return for him, maybe, who knows? But he says the line, even in the darkest of nights, I can still see the moonlight, and even in the darkest of days, I still have hope. And for him, this is just a way to remember and never forget, because as I said, like the moment that we forget like the sacrifices that are being made by everybody, and like people are putting their lives on the line to take the city back, as soon as we forget that, like that's when we lose. This is an uphill battle, and we really need to hold on to everything that we can get.
And in the one shot, when all of our characters had realized what the situation was, and we set off, Maria stopped to actually speak to him, and Maria said, like, please remember our names. like, don't forget who we were if we succeed, or even if we don't. And he kept his word, which was very nice, and it makes me really emotional. And I've cried about this so many times, and I cried about this on stream, but this was very much based on, if you've seen the clip from Sea of Thieves, or maybe if you've played it, there's like a special like Easter egg type thing where if you get a group of people together and you stand in a certain place and you all play your instruments
around a tree,
you kind of invoke this song that lights up, and it was a tribute to one of the developer's friends who had passed away, and it's really sad. I'm gonna get really upset about it talking about it again.
And this is the thing, like, everyone always asks me, like, oh, where'd you get all these ideas and that? It's just like, I just take from what I see.
Yeah.
Like, I just take from things that I like see in media that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I saw that moment in Sea of Thieves, and I was just like, fuck, man, that is so good.
Well,
so I wanted to just like recreate it.
Beautiful, really. I'll leave a link to it below. We can't play it here, but I'll leave a link to it below.
At the end, Father Augustine like turns to you, and like everything's done, and he's like the jars go dark that are on the tree, and he turns to you all, and he's ready to head back to the city, and he says, I hope to never see you on this tree.
To which Blythe said, you very well might.
Yeah.
And one very important thing that happened when we were there, Josh said, Avalo, after he'd explained everything and we're like gazing upon this tree, Avalo says, because I roll a really high insight check, you can see the corner of his lip just twitch, just slightly.
And it was like, there is nothing at all.
Nothing.
Like on the face, nothing.
Nothing.
There's like an eek of the lip, and like,
which is huge.
Yeah. And it's like in his eyes, there's something.
Yeah.
There's something in there.
Yeah.
But it just isn't showing itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a tiny twitch of the lip, which Blythe noted and is storing that for a later date. And it was a beautiful moment.
Yes.
And Blythe actually comes back, and Avalo stays for quite a long time there. And then we all meet up again and kind of do the rest of whatever.
The downtime.
Yeah.
And
there is actually in the next session, there is some more things that we decided in the interim sessions that we wanted to do. But you end it with being like the Herald, who was in the Ashen Hat in that hut that they delivered pastries to. He comes out and he finds us.
Yeah.
He comes to us.
So, it was like the rest of the downtime sort of takes shape, and the bridge is almost complete.
Yeah.
So, like, you're called to a meeting.
Yeah.
With Arabella, the general of the guard, and Harold Isak, which Dale and Marcus knew about. There's a meeting in the barracks, and basically he turns up in his ashen hat uniform.
Yeah, like very clearly a man of the cloth.
Very, very clearly a man of the cloth, and he comes in and he introduces himself to you all. And he says something to Dale. He's talking about Dale's eyes, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, ignores the fuck out of us, and he
doesn't. He introduces himself to everyone.
But he sees Dale, and it's one of those things where he couldn't hide that he was looking at her.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, you have really interesting eyes. You have purple eyes." And Dale's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, cool, weird." And all of us were like,
"The fuck,
weird." All right, okay, cool.
But he then gives you a map of the city, which is the map that you saw earlier.
We saw the map.
He gives you a bag of holding.
Yes.
And a number of the like people in the town have been saying like, oh, when you do go in, can you get me this and things like that. Just little tasks from people.
People whose lives had to be abandoned.
Yeah, who were in the great city of Inzrendith who got out. But he was just like, I want you to go. I don't want you to get into the city. I don't want you to take the city back on day one. That's not what this is about. I want you to go. I want you to find out what's happening.
Do some reconning.
Yeah. Don't get too excited.
Yeah. Don't push yourselves.
Don't like go in. Don't overextend yourselves.
Yeah.
Let's get to the outside of Cleargate.
Yep. Which, as you can see, is kind of like the first instance, kind of before you get into the city.
On this side.
Is it on that side? I keep thinking it's here. It's not. This is the Kindlewatch district here, isn't it?
The Kindlewatch district is there. That is Pearl Gardens.
Over there.
Over here is Cleargate. But yeah, he's like, don't go in. Like, let's just find out what's going on. Because nobody's been there. There've been, like, scouts from eyes from miles away.
Yeah.
Or, like, people who've, like, flown near and stuff like that. But nobody's gotten too close.
Yeah.
So, you're going to be the first people. So, get some bits from Cleargate. Because that was, like, a very industrial, like, district.
Yeah.
And come back and report to us. Yeah. That's all we care about now.
Yeah. Don't get yourselves killed.
For the love of God, don't get yourself killed.
please just find out what you can. Like, don't even like any information is better than nothing.
If there's nobody at Cleargate, that's great information.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Like,
so our next step was very clear. Yeah. Next step was very clear.
And he dismisses the meeting.
Yeah.
But at the end of the meeting, he says to Dale, could I just have a word with you quickly?
Yeah.
While everyone leaves.
Blythe doth protest too much. Blythe is very much anything you need to say to her, you can say to all of us. But Marcus, kind of seeing that Blythe was getting, whatever type of way, was like, come on, she can handle herself. Like, wait outside, and we go.
Yeah.
And he turns to her.
Yeah.
And he looks at her in the eyes, and he changes his eyes to also be purple. And he says, I didn't know that another one had made it out. And that's where we fucking ended the session. Oh.
And this is like, because this is a really contained adventure. This is my setup for like the first same world campaign. Like the next campaign will be set in this world after the events of like what happens in Osrendith.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be a hugely long campaign.
Tragically.
All takes place in Osrendith.
Yeah.
And, so I want to get people's backstories up and running quite soon because I don't want to like leave it too late and be like really like deep in the story and be like, oh, we've got to stop for this.
Yeah.
So, I'm just happy to like, I know it's session 1, but I want to get things going.
Yeah, well, and there's a big thing that happens in session 2, which we'll talk about next time.
Very, 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 very big.
Yeah.
For a number of characters.
Yes, indeed. And Abby was like, oh my god, it's happening. Oh my god, I can't believe it's happening. And we left it on that cliffhanger, and that was the first session.
And you'll have to tune in next week to find out what happens in the next session.
Man, you know what? That went so much longer than I thought. I was like half an hour. But, I feel like the first session, there's so much setup. You have to go over like the world.
And you've got to introduce each other's characters.
Everyone's characters. Like maybe next episode will be more streamlined. Probably. I don't know. But what did you think? Did you enjoy having this as a little separate thing that you can come to when you want to? Oh my god, I didn't show the other Art of Blythe. No! Oh my god, because obviously we did this recap on stream. People have seen Blythe already. So, and to be fair, in Monday's episode you would have seen Blythe too. But we got some Art of Blythe. We'll talk about these in the next episode anyway. Yes. But let's just quickly go through them. So we got some Balthazar art from Paris. Yeah. Look at him.
We've made the one up in the top corner, the little one.
Paris has made the little one in the top corner an emote for us.
I thought it was you that did it.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. It was Paris. Well, all Paris.
She's Paris.
She did just a little sheet of Balthazar, which is the cutest, sweetest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Balthazar.
Oh my god. And we have a little Balthazar emote now too. And she also did some Art of Blythe as well. Look at how cute she is. The speed at which Paris produced these things is sickening to me.
In the live stream.
Don't fucking understand. Don't know how you did that. There is I won't say, but there is another artist who is working on something as well, which looks amazing. Which I shan't mention until it's done. And then today, I opened the Discord and Finn had sent this of Blythe as well.
Oh my god, I didn't even know.
Finn was like, oh, here's just a doodle of Blythe. What the fuck? How do you just doodle that? Thank you so very much. If you want to take a look, these are in the fan art channel in our Discord. Yeah. That's probably the best way to get art over. Yeah. Everything that is being done of her will get printed out and put on like our backdrop on our set for Twitch.
Yes.
Because all of the fan art of Rayla's on there as well. Yes. So that'll be really fun.
There is currently some dice being made of Blythe.
There is some dice being made of Blythe.
Dice.
Yes. Which is
super exciting. I hope you enjoyed this.
Yes. Please let us know what you think of this format. Yeah. Again, did I think it was going to be an hour? No. But here we are.
Well, here we are. An hour in.
Yeah.
And we're gonna record a actual podcast now.
And then we're gonna live stream.
So full day of content for you.
Yeah.
Tune into our normal podcasts every Monday and Thursday. Thank you for coming to this extra episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the support you give our campaigns, and thank you for everything. The fan art. Already we have fan art. Thank you for the fan art to come, because I know you guys are insane. And thank you for the support.
Yes. And come join us live on Twitch on a Friday and a Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT.
Yes, we will be live on Friday and Sunday this week.
Yes, come and hang out and do all sorts of crazy shenanigans.
And lastly, we have some new merch.
Yes, we mentioned it in Monday's episode.
Yeah, on Monday we dropped some new merch.
The Entity Tee and the logo hoodie. Head to www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk to pick up some new merch or some of the old merch. Thanks for all your support.
See you on Thursday, innit?
Yeah, we love you very much.
We love you.
Bye.